me repeat. This bittersweet heat is suffocating. I'm waiting and always hesitating. Kryptonite desires set my heart afire. Heart on fire. Set my heart afire. Suffocating. I'm waiting and always hesitating. Kryptonite desires set my heart afire. Heart on fire. Set my heart afire. Yeah.
All right. So let me just make sure everything appears to be working. Great. Discord's running, chat's running. They can all hear me. This is the best. I love it when there's no technical issues. All right. Well, today is a slightly different stream. Thanks to the anniversary event destroying our replay codes. So nobody gets to see the match. So we'll just have to talk about it instead. Hi Rosa, good seeing you. Hi Avocactus, the Daito in the chat. Yes, Daito, first appearance on the stream. Avocactus here to be a nightmare. Well. Not different from normal, that's for sure. All right, well, friends, I'm glad you're here. We're gonna be doing kind of like a roundtable discussion of the match. And then we're just going to be talking about the teams in general. Maybe, I don't know, just maybe either strategy points or even just the players that we like watching or just like hanging out with. Doesn't even really matter exactly. And then after that, we're going to be talking about some of the matchups. I guess that's more the strategy part, like the Ponies versus Shibas, the Shibas versus Direwolves, and Direwolves versus Shibas. How do the teams stack up against each other? And then kind of the predictions category. Our next match in, I think, 2.5 weeks is the One Trick Ponies versus the Dragonstone Direwolves. What are our thoughts? What do you think the record's going to be? Who do we think are going to be the breakout players? And then after that, we'll get into a little bit about grand finals. What's going on with the end of season 1, our inaugural season on the server. and a few extra things I'll add at the end. So if you want to know what those things are, you will have to. This is such a stupid cliche. I feel so dumb saying it, but you're gonna have to wait for the end. So without further ado, I've got three very special guests with me today. Avocactus, what's with the bullying already? Look, Avocactus, I've been given 2 hours a day exactly to bully you. That's what I was allotted. So I'm very far behind today, so I gotta catch up. Big Cheesy, is this where you announce me, Rosa, and Joe are on the same team? I mean, you're just gonna have to wait and find out. Anywho, without that distraction, I would love to introduce my three co-hosts for this evening. First up is going to be none other than the team strategist, main tank extraordinaire, Reinhardt One Trick, as they call him, with a little bit of BAP on the side, Mr. Goose King, on the top left of the screen. On the bottom, oh yeah, say hi, Goose King.
Oh, hello. It is I again.
No stranger to this Twitch, that's for sure. And in the bottom left, we have again the team strategist for the Dragonstone Direwolves. Probably his fourth or fifth appearance here on this channel, Mr. Left Elbow.
Hi. Yeah, I took some time off to but I'm back. I was told I get 30 minutes to bully Azure.
You only get 30 minutes to bully Azure.
Yeah, well, I'm not the owner.
Oh, sorry. Well, here, I'll tell you what. I'll give you 45 minutes, and if with good behavior you get an hour.
That Avocactus,
Yeah.
better Nano Blade.
And finally, in the bottom right, first appearance here on the Twitch, a brand new member to the Shanghai Shibas, tank main, support main, but even better, DPS main, none other than Daito. Welcome aboard.
Hello. So happy to be here.
Yeah, exciting. Well, I'm happy that you guys are here. We're going to talk a little bit about the One Trick Ponies versus the Shanghai Shibas. Unfortunately, because of the anniversary update, we lost the replay codes, which is very sad because the match was pretty insane. What do you guys think? Or the Goose and Daito?
From personally experiencing the match, it was a roller coaster to play again to play, in all sense of the word. It was like it was going back and forth. I think almost every map was like overtime or like just very close. And I think it was my kind of game because it was a strategy kind of thing, It was like it wasn't like our normal games. Like you had people popping off, but it was like it seemed like strategy was the thing that was really helping each team succeed. If you look at when we talk about like maps individually, you'll see like one team makes a good adjustment to whatever the other team was doing, and they just start going from there. Maybe they win a map if it's control point, or they'll push the payload to the next checkpoint, and then the other team will make another change to counter the change. So there was a lot of like strategy involved that kind of helped each team be successful. And like I said, being a team strategist, that was my kind of game, and I felt like it was great seeing what each team could come up with to counter each other. Like I said, and we had a Bastion. Like you don't see that a lot, especially in these scrims, because it's like Bastion's kind of an easy character to kind of play around. He has to stay in one spot to do a lot of damage. So there's a lot of characters that are more mobile and kind of get around him. So it was interesting to see that work. Myself was just a personal meat shield for Jotaro on the Bastion. Just took every source of damage that was coming his way. I made sure I took, and I think that was one of the things that worked out really well. But like I said, I think it was a very interesting one just to see, because most of the games that we have, it's always like somebody's popping off, whether it's like Alex, Jotaro, or somebody like that, just getting a lot of kills and they're helping their team. So you don't see a lot, at least for me, where it's like two teams just strategically going at it. So I thought it was a battle of the mind per se.
I mean, I completely agree. It felt like a chess match the entire time, and by the end of it, spoiler alert, the match went to map 5, round 3, 99-99 at the very end of a control map, and my head was pounding, my heart was racing, and I was just so tired. Daito, what was your experience like?
Um, it was a very quote unquote interesting match for sure. I don't think I've actually ever seen such a close match in the history of like the actual server that I've been there for that long. There was definitely a lot of key players. I know the supports and the tanks were working overtime to keep their DPS up to try and win that final fight at the end. I know it was like just super hectic for everybody who was playing. It was a complete and utter nightmare at the end too. But
Oh
overall, it was
god.
a really fun game, and I enjoyed it.
Oh yeah. It was I guess playing in it, it had to have been the best. In my opinion, it was the best matchup like in the server ever. And I would say, I mean, I'm biased because I didn't play in this other one, but I would say the second best is probably the inaugural match of the season, which was One Trick Ponies versus Dragonstone Direwolves. I think that was the only one that was even close to this one, and both matches both went to 99-99 map round 3 map 5. Um,
Yeah, I think it's one of those things where it's just like, I think at least for me personally, it was just it was great to playing because it was like, we were, especially my team, we were all vibing together, like it was like, see, like we were all taking it serious, but like we were all, cool, level-headed, not stressed out, just making sure we were playing with each other, having proper call-outs and stuff. So like it was a very competitive game, but it wasn't also like a stressful, like it was stressful. I'm not gonna say it wasn't stressful because it was, but it was it was nice to like have that team aspect with it, because it's like I think it's different from like being in a stressful game and then also having to deal with the fact that everybody's stressed out and like yelling and stuff like that. Like that makes the game kind of miserable. But like for us, at least for the ponies during that script, we were all kind of okay, there's somebody over there. Okay, cool, cool. We need to do this. Like we were all together with it, and I like that kind of team atmosphere that we had going on, which made it a lot easier. It made like more exciting, like I wanted to win that game, because we worked hard to we worked hard for this scrim, and I wanted to see us win for that. So the competitiveness and the team, is that like I don't know if that's sportsman. It's not like a sportsmanship. I'm trying to figure out what the word is like teamwork, I guess, was there. Yeah, that's the word. And it was just a beautiful thing together. Like and the way that I think about it is it was like a beautiful painting in my mind, and it was just like after all that long work, you just get to like sit back and look at it. You're just like, damn, I'm good, That's kind of how, you know.
for sure, for sure. I mean, I don't think. I mean, so being on the Shanghai Shibas for a while now, playing against the One Trick Ponies, I think the Shanghai Shibas and the Ponies have played 5 times. I would say that was the most together, the most I don't know what to call it. Like everything just seemed to work for the Ponies. Like just everything was going well, and uh I don't know, it was like a harmony. I don't know how else to describe it, if that makes sense to anybody.
Yeah, no, I definitely understand it. Like it felt good, especially when we came up with the decision to use the bash, and like it just like it was just one of those things where it just worked, like we it wasn't at first I was very, very skeptical with it. Like very skeptical. I was like, we're playing against the Shibas. They're really good. Bastion's kind of a mean pick. But like everybody was like, trust me, like we'll do it. And I was like, okay, if we're gonna do this, we're gonna do it together. Like I'm gonna make sure you're fine. Everybody else play around, and it should work, And we did that, and it worked out beautifully. Like I said, if it failed, we would have changed something else. But I think the reason why it worked is because it wasn't like me kind of being like, I don't like this and not like playing around it. It was more of like, okay, the team made a decision. Let's go make the best out of it. And at the end of the day, like I said, I think that kind of mindset helped make it work. Like there was other things, like I said, Jotaro just popped off. on the Bastion. Like if he didn't get the kills he did, that probably wouldn't have worked. But I think the team made it work, which, like I said, goes to your point about how we were like, playing together and stuff.
Yeah, I mean, agreed. I think yeah, you guys did a lot of like I don't know harmonious things. That's the only word I can think of when I think
Yeah.
about how the game went. Elbow, I remember you said earlier before the stream that you were able to catch the first 3 maps, but unfortunately you missed the last 2. What'd you think when you were watching the ponies in the first 3?
So to be honest, most of the games I've watched is I know all of them are individually very mechanical skilled, but a lot of the time it has just seemed like a Jotaro show. But this time I saw all the ponies really, I they're all mechanically skilled. I think a lot of them just felt more comfortable in this current environment. From what I've heard from Goose, they built the team off vibes, and I think it really showed the level of comfort that they built up in each other and the trust. Goose told me personally he wanted Cat to play more Ana. Cat was playing more Ana from what I saw, I think, and it worked. It's really enabled them to develop their own aggressive play style off of Goose playing Ryan, like I say, like he plays Reaper. And I really think the Ponies just they've all stepped up because everyone knew that it was an issue of mechanical skill with the Ponies. It was more so like just running around in different directions, relying on mechanical skill to get you through situations. But now it feels like their team Goose said they came in with a lot of planning coming in, Bastion some meme pick, but trust me guys. And Goose had the faith in his team to really let that come through. And I think that speaks a lot to how to the level of trust they'll have in themselves and how far they've come as a team. I think it's really impressive.
Oh yeah, very impressive. Definitely the vibe showed through Nom Nom's compass leading her towards the most friendly and I guess talented players, not leading her astray. So for the ponies, we mentioned earlier that we saw Jotaro on Bastion. That is the big boogeyman of the scrim. How do you think? So we haven't actually seen much Bastion in our team scrims. All of a sudden, definitely from my playbook, I did not expect Jotaro to play Bastion, and I think a lot of my teammates felt the same way. And as soon as we saw it, it just melted our team apart. And the 2 maps where Jotaro played the Bastion, he just like destroyed our team, especially on Eichenwald. I think that was map 3, where playing Bastion on the defense and just we had as the Shiba players, like we just had such a hard time breaking through the first point. So my question is kind of to the floor. What do you guys think about Bastion kind of starting to show up in the team scrims?
I like it. I don't like it.
Of course, the
I
gold
mean-
gun guy says he likes it.
I think it's interesting, like I said, because I think in Overwatch it's kind of one of those things with the game. It's like every character can work if you can make a composition that that benefits that character's strengths in a sense. And Bastion's one of those characters where his strength is that he does a lot of high input damage, and but one of the downsides is that he's like not really mobile. So so basically the way that I look at it is that okay, Bastion does a lot of damage, high input, but he has to stay in one place. And he's very vulnerable to mobile DPS, very mobile to people like Sombra, Junkrat, Pharah, things like that. But he also can win those 1v1s if you can protect them. So, if a good Bastion player is very mobile, like they change their positions up, they make sure they're in a position where they can get out and stuff like that. So if he makes a good Bastion player that knows his mechanics, knows his limitations, with like somebody like myself, like a Ryan main that just like blocks a lot of damage, that knows how to protect his team, you're kind of making a composition that's gonna get the most value out of the Bastion. And it's like that's kind of what we did. Like I made sure that I put my trust in him to kill what I was protecting him from. And that's basically what happened. Like if he was somewhere, I was there. Like I told the team, like, hey, I'll peel for you a little bit, but my priority is the Bastion, because if he can kill that far, like in a snap, and just go over and kill if he can do target prioritization and pick out the key ones that were going, you guys shouldn't be taking too much damage. So you guys should be fine. And it just worked out that like, Jotaro was getting the kills while I was protecting them, and we were able to, just kind of melt through your kind of strategy that you were going through. So it's like I like seeing it because it means that we're getting away from the meta to an extent. Like we're creating our own meta, kind of making the scrims a little bit more interesting because I think the sad thing about Overwatch League is that like there's like a big thing that just works and everybody does it. So you're just seeing mirror compositions and you're just trying to figure out which team can run a mirror composition better. And it's like that's not fun to watch. And I don't think it's fun to play. But like when you can sit here and be like, hey, let's pick a Bastion with a Sombra or something like that, something a little spicy. And you're just like, okay, a little intriguing. And I think playing with it was fun. Like playing with it was just fun. Just sitting there seeing like Jotaro just over here like on the point and me in front of him, the body blocking, dancing and stuff. It was entertaining. It's a lot better than just having like little trades with like a McCree behind a Rhine shield or something like that. Like Bastion's Bastion. It's just whenever you think of Bastion, you just laugh. So it's like, that's just kind of my opinion on it.
Bastion is the actual bad guy in every movie that has heroes and villains, and he's the bane of quick play. He's the bane of Diamond and Lower, and now entering the team server scrims, the ponies introduce the mighty Bastion, and really it was really difficult for our team to play against. More from a I guess meta defining perspective. I'll ask Daito. Do you think that the ponies bringing out the Bastion and having a lot of success with Bastion will influence the way that the Direwolves or the Shibas play moving forward?
I think it will definitely shape their teams and the way they choose to counter the Bastion. I know coming from a like off tank to main tank perspective, Bastion melts shields incredibly quickly. So when you're up against the Bastion, you have to make split decisions and you either execute them perfectly or you fail miserably. And I think a lot of the issues that we had was that Jotaro was having a lot of pockets and a lot of like shields that were up around him at all times. And with that being the case, I believe that a lot of teams are going to try and adapt and try to figure out, okay, well, if he's going to play Bastion, what can I do to get around that, or how can I push my team forward?
Yeah, I mean, I kind of agree with a lot of those things. I kind of expect either a little bit more. I don't think we're going to see like a huge influx of Bastion play. I think we might see a little more than we're used to, and then we're going to see a lot of the teams, like Daito said, kind of adapt to how do they want to play against it when it comes out. And I think it's similar to Pharah in a lot of ways. I think that Pharah hasn't been as super dominant in our team scrims. Probably the one time where we saw the Pharah just absolutely annihilate another team was I think it was the first Shiba's ponies on Eichenwald conveniently, where Alex was on the Pharah on defense and just wouldn't allow the ponies to advance at all. Just sending rockets to the front line, the back line, barraging everybody. The ponies just couldn't advance, and that was probably the most dominant performance we've seen of Pharah. I'm gonna assume, and we'll get to it soon, that there might be some more Pharah play, and we'll talk about that in a second. But yeah, I haven't seen a hero be as dominant in a game as we've seen with this Bastion. So I think that's going to be really interesting moving forward. So for the Shibas coming in with their new roster, slightly updated. I think they gained 3 new players, Daito being one of them. Elbow, what do you think of the new Shiba roster?
One of the talking points I had written down was new rosters and how each team adjusted to said rosters. I don't believe Shiva's had a match against the free agents, but both the other teams did, and it showed that both of them adjusted well to the new pickups. But she was with their new pickups. I feel like she was, they kept a lot of their core. Let me pull up the roster real quick to see who the new fellas are, because I do not have a committed memory
Oh,
yet.
so the new players were Radcoon, Daito, and Only Three, and then the returning players were Alex, Spirit, Big Cheesy, Azure, and Teehee, and myself.
Just gonna give a short little preview in my head of how I view each of these players and how I see them coming together. If it's perfectly okay, I'm going to start off with the team captain, of course. I mean, he's right here on the call. It's Narkton. Narkton is. I don't think Narkton plays in a position to carry games, but Narkton's one of those players. He's always consistent. So he's like glue. You put him anywhere, he's gonna stick. Azure. This might be the part of the preview that's not so quick. I was told I have 30 minutes of bullying time. Azure really can't cut it on the brick because I've never seen it. But Azure's a very good I don't think it's a secret in the server. I think a lot of the time when people play heroes who you don't really see a lot of, they tend to stand out more. And Azure played Ana when it was primarily a Mercy dominant just environment in our server. And Azure has gone on to still play Ana and has really kept up with every other player in the server, and I would say even exceeded most other support players in the server. Azure is phenomenal. Alex, formerly known as Capri. The one player in the server I've shed tears after playing against. Lord, that first game when they picked Pharaoh on Eichenwald. It's really rough. But Alex is a phenomenal player, mechanically skilled on every hero I've seen him play. Cheesy is, of course, nasty. I was really impressed with everything I saw from Cheesy, especially in the Junkrat, the silly hero. Cheesy's just very good on every hero I've seen him play. I think he's a rank 20 tank on Switch as well. So Shibas also have that pocket pick. Spirit, Reaper God, on Ash. Spirit continues to surprise me with his hero pool. Teehee, very reserved player, but you don't. Sometimes I feel like I overlook him a bit because he's, from my experience, pretty soft-spoken. But when I do watch his gameplay, I'm always very impressed. But onto the new players, the real meat and potatoes of this. Radcoon, he's a player who I know the Direwolves were looking into very extensively. I'm willing to bet the Ponies were as well. And land with the Shibas. I believe he wasn't in the last game. Narkin, you can correct me if I'm wrong.
No, you're right. We were missing Spirit and Radcoon.
But yeah, I have no doubts that Radcoon will integrate fine. I've talked to him. Seems like a pretty good guy. He gets hype after map wins, which I know every team would value. Daito, another person in this call, I've played with once in a the our game against the Ponies, which Narkin coincidentally said wasn't one of his favorites, I think, because he lost.
Well, Daito played on both teams in that scrim.
Yeah, Daito played on both teams, and there's not too many other Sigma players in the server, and I know Narkin plays Sigma. I know Nick, when he was in the server, played Sigma, and I know Daito plays Sigma, and Daito is definitely a Sigma in the server that I see, and he's someone who I know I can learn from. I think Daito is very, very good on the Sigma, on the Diva, on the Reinhardt. Everyone I've seen him play solid on. And Only Three, I actually thought Only Three was on the Ponies before this game. Then I saw Only Three on the Shibas, but Only Three's a Mercy player, that supportive role. But I feel like if you don't notice a Mercy, unless of course you're Valid and you're basically playing Echo at that point. Only Three, you don't have to stand out on Mercy. In fact, if you're not standing out, if you're not caught out of position a lot, that can be more beneficial than going for flashy plays. And I think Only Three, I think all the Mercies in the server have shown just a good knowledge of where to position themselves to get the most value out of in particular their Resurrect. And I think it impressed me. I think all these players have integrated really well into the Shibas, and that obviously shows with how they were able to get the resolve together. They were down 2-1, I believe, then came back with the next two maps. So but the server in general feels very competitive right now. I think this is the best state of balance all the teams have been in. I'm like every team has gone to map 5 with each other at one point. So it's clear that there is no clear cut best team right now. Um, you know, like we were talking a lot about Jaguar's Bastion. Issy had a phenomenal game on McCree and Doomfist. Like I'm impressed with Issy. I think every team has been really good, and I think the new players really added not only new bonds to each team that I'm excited to see grow, but also just new layers, one could say, the amount of comps one team can run and the level of play that each team is able to exceed.
That was a lot of content, and yeah, that was really kind words you said about the Shibas. I mean, I agree. I think that the Shibas are integrating pretty well, and we see, the Shibas, their first time as a full unit, getting the 3-2 dub against a very strong Ponies roster, probably the strongest the Ponies have ever been. So yeah, I completely agree with all of that. I guess since I have the strategist here myself, or ourselves, Goose, I wanted to talk to you a little bit about your new players, Caroline, Rosa, Kovacs, and Issy. What have they brought to the table, and what has striked you so far about them?
Oh well, man, that's a great question. I think what is interesting is that when Nam told me that we had a conversation, and she told me that she was drafting the team based off of people that she thought she basically drafted people that would like vibe well together. At first when I was thinking about it, and I was like, I didn't understand it, but like as the street team strategist, at least my job is to take what the captain gives me and try my best to make the team that they want. And I was like, okay, cool. We'll roll with it. And first off the bat, we had like our first meeting, and everybody showed up. Everybody was engaging, and it's like for the ponies, that was a big thing because like before we were struggling with attendance to these kind of things. A lot of times it would just be me and a couple other players, and just kind of it's hard to really like make plans with that. We didn't really practice and stuff like that, but like I can confidently say like since like it's been like a month or so since the draft. I mean, since like we picked up from the free agents, we've had like the majority of the team attend all the practices, and it's been a great feeling like being like on the ponies. Like I could say like especially like I might be biased because I'm a team strategist, but it feels good. Every meeting is just like cracking jokes. Also strategizing a little bit. Practice is like we're getting used to how each other plays and how we all play with each other, and it's a good feeling. Like it doesn't feel as much as like a scrim. Like yeah, we know it's a scrim, but like it doesn't feel you know like a scrim. It feels like we're just playing with each other. That sounded really bad now that I said it out loud. But like we understand how each other play to an extent, and it's beautiful to see what we're coming of it. And if I get specific about like every all the newcomers, I think to start off with Caroline, I think what Caroline brings to the team is like I think Caroline is one of our players that can just play with anybody, on the team. From what I've seen, she's played with a lot of different people on support. She's played with Kat, she's played with Rose. I think she's played with Kovacs, but I think she's cool with everybody on the team, and when she plays with everybody, it's like it's always cool. Like she's never really complains about anything, and she just kind of like, hey, let's just play, And I think that kind of attitude is nice to see. And she's a very good Mercy player. She makes a lot of good plays on Mercy. She's very aware of her surroundings. She also enables a lot of our players, but based off of how she plays Mercy. Because Izzy is, he plays Doomfist and he plays very aggressive. And I think Izzy's Doomfist is very good. He helps make the ponies a little bit more aggressive than we were before by just going in and getting those key picks that just allow us to be a little bit more aggressive with those 5v6s. And Caroline enables him to do that because she's with him playing safe. Because she's not just like sometimes, yeah, they're diving, they're kind of going in the back line, but like she's playing safe. She's making so sure that he can get out of there. Because, in my opinion, if you're gonna go into the back line and get a pick, if you die by getting that pick, it's not 100% worth because it's like it goes back to being a 5v5. But if you can get that pick and get out, or if you can get two picks and get out, I think that that's worth it. And she helps Izzy get out of those situations so we can win those 5v6 is, and she gets those really clutch reses because there's a lot of times that I go in, sometimes I go a little too far and I die, and then here comes Caroline, and all of a sudden I'm res, and we can kind of take the team by surprise, because having that Reinhardt just coming out in the back line, all I got to do is just charge and bring somebody with me, back to my team, and it just works out. And like I said, it's just the vibes are very good with Caroline, if I had to put it simply, and it just works out really well. So like I said, nothing but good words there. And as I said, talking about Izzy, I think having one of the things that's good to have with with the ponies this come around is we have like a variety when it comes to the DPS position, because before we relied a lot on Jotaro to get a lot of our kills. We also had Nam, and Nam, Nam is she's very good at what she does with their characters, Symmetra and Echo, but sometimes Symmetra doesn't do well against certain DPS players, so it's like certain DPS characters she just doesn't match up well with. But I can confidently say like I don't have to fully rely on Jotaro going out there and getting those kills. We have Izzy there, getting the chance to see both of them play with each other, in practice and scrims. It's like they feed off of each other in a sense, because like Jotaro will get a good play, then Izzy will get a good play, and then those you could see when they get good plays, we start doing better, whether or not we want to get the point. Jotaro gets two good kills and we're able to take the point. They really help us establish what we're trying to do for a team, for like our team kind of composition, or what we're trying, or basically just kind of help us win the game sometimes. So I think it's just great having him, and also I think Izzy's a pretty cool dude. So far it's just been, like I said, good vibes. We'll joke around and stuff. He'll be like, "Okay, I'm feeding on Doom. I'm feeding on Doom." It just makes things a lot easier and calmer when we're playing the game together. So it's great to see in general. And then to go to Kovacs. Kovacs is a really another great addition to the team. Just he's he plays main tank to an extent. Like he plays a lot of different kind of tanks. So if we wanted to be not have me in, we could have Kovacs playing the Rhine with Pest on the hog, or like Jotaro on the ball. And the important thing is Zarya is very good. Like it's one of those things where we didn't really have the old ponies. We didn't really have like a good, like we didn't have like somebody that really played Zarya a lot, because I know Pest himself didn't play Zarya, and Starfire was on the team and she didn't really play Zarya that much too. But like Kovacs does a lot of magic on Zarya. There's a lot of times those bubbles saved my life in that scrim, and it's just like nice to be able to have more to be flexible with when it comes to team compositions. And I think having like Kovacs in, it just adds like a lot of depth when it comes to the tank position. And I think he's really he has a lot of good game sense. His call outs are really good. And I'm just excited to, the more I play with Kovacs, the more I just see that I think it's just really like just kind of like surprise. I wouldn't say surprising, that's the right word. I just think it's like refreshing to see, like when I go in as a Reinhardt, I kind of like am very afraid because of the fact that like the other enemy Reinhardt has a Zarya, has like an Ana, especially with your team, like a Xur. Xur just loves putting me to sleep for some reason. I just don't understand what this fascination of putting me to sleep is, but it seems like every time I don't put up I put down my shield, I'm asleep, and that just is really just a nightmare for me. So it was great to have that kind of reassurance with Kovacs with the bubble. Like I know when my shield goes down, I'll be like, okay, Kovacs, give me with the bubble. Hits me with it. I could get some alt charge with my swings, and then kind of go in. And it's just great to see. A lot of the things that I like about the players that we got added to the ponies, they helped me be an aggressive Ryan. Like the first match, a lot of people say I got excited. Like I don't I it's been like since week one, since I joined the server, that I've been like I've truly felt like I could just go out, and just start swinging, and it felt great just to see. Like I had to tone it down a little bit, of course, but it's it's great because it might be a little bit selfish, but like everybody kind of enables me a little bit, and I'm just like, feels good. Like I got gold eliminations the first time in like forever, like when we played against the free agents. So it's great to see. But to move on to Rose, I think what is great about Rose is that Rose's Lucio play. I've never really played with a very, I haven't played with like that, like like a top tier like Lucio on the ponies. I don't think we've had one since I've been on the team. I don't want to disrespect anybody, so I'm thinking about that real quick. I don't
Mm, I think Jotaro's played Lucio and Starfire has played Lucio.
yeah,
I don't think
like
there are any
Starfire
others.
Starfire was a really good Lucio on there, but it's just the way that I guess Rose plays Lucio is like it's like Rose will play with me and like I never really understood what like a speed boost Rhine like how powerful that is, but like on oh whenever when I was playing Rhine with Lucio, it just felt like I could get to your backline so much quicker and get out even faster. You know, it was the tempo that was going on was just great. And I think when the fact that she and Jotaro play a lot with each other, just having that synergy right there is just it works out really well. It seems like they're always on the same kind of page, and it just works out a lot, you know. And I also enjoy playing with her. I enjoy playing with everybody. It's just she when I want to feed, she kind of she's like okay let's go feed, and I was just like wait what? I was like, what? What is this? You know? Because I'm so used to like when I play with Cat is like, oh I'm just gonna let you die, and I'm like, all right, cool, I guess. But like when I was playing in practice one time, I was playing McCree and I was like crouch walking, and I was like, okay, all right, I'm gonna get the biggest high noon ever, and then all of a sudden there was a Zarya, and then here comes Rose, and Rose is like, we win these, and I'm like, what do you mean we win these? And then all of a sudden we just do our best and we somehow kill the Zarya that's like max charge, and it's just like that was fun, you know? And yeah, it's just like I said, it's refreshing. A lot of this stuff is refreshing with a lot of these players that that it's just it's great to see, you know? Like I haven't been playing Overwatch a lot because of school and everything, but like when I get on Overwatch, I'm excited to play Overwatch with my team. You know, and that's something that I can confidently say with the people that we have. And I'm glad that I can say that, it makes my job as a team strategist that much easier because it's not like I have to worry about, oh man, we can't have these people playing with each other or that kind of drama. It's just like everybody's cool, you know? So it's just like, oh, can we try this out? Like, sure, we'll try this out, and if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. You know, nobody gets really upset about shit. You know, so it's
Mhm.
great. Oh, can I curse? I forgot to ask that
Oh, it's fine.
before.
That's fine.
But like I said, it's like a new chapter in the book, and I'm excited from what I've seen getting written in the chapter so far, and I can't wait to see what else happens because, like I said, this is only the beginning. Yeah, we lost to you guys this time, but I think with some more practice and some more some with just some more practice and some more time, I think we'll turn that around. Like I said, it was close. It was anybody's game at a point, And as a team strategist, that's all I can really ask for. Everybody put their best on the floor, and you know that's all I can ask.
I mean, yeah. I mean, I agree with a lot of the points you made. I think it was Elbow who said that the most quiet, silent mercy is going to probably be your best mercy. Caro is like Caro's like a phantom. Like you just can't find her. Like and that's great for your team because like she's just keeping everybody alive and rezzing everybody. And then Rosa on the Lucio. I mean, yeah, Lucio with Orion is a lot of fun. I can't deny that. So especially when you have a Lucio that's coordinating with you, that's like telling you when they're gonna amp up speed and like letting you know like, and then if you're telling the Lucio where you're gonna go, they can follow you and keep you up or out or whatever. So, yeah, I mean, like I said it earlier before, the ponies probably looking the best they've ever looked in a very long time. So,
Yeah, if I had to like put like a picture to how like I feel the ponies, I feel like the ponies are like that guy that like hasn't like that came like he's been how do I say this? I feel like the best way that I can describe the ponies right now is like imagine like you're cooking right now, right? And you got yourself like a whatever your favorite food is, like maybe a steak or something like that. And it's like you had a hard day of work, you come home, you start cooking, and then all of a sudden you just like you take a bite of that food and you're just like, like that sensation right there. lip smacking, all the like the little moans and stuff. It's just that's kind of how I see the ponies right now. It's just like just all coming together real well. At the end of each meeting, it's just like taking another bite of that perfectly cooked food. It's just muy bien.
The muy bien coming from the One Trick Pony strategist. All right. Well, that was a great synopsis of the ponies and the Shibas. The unfortunately we don't have the replays, but the match ended 3-2 in favor of the Shibas. Incredibly close. In the same time, the Dragonstone Direwolves playing against the free agent roster. I believe the Direwolves won 2-0 in the best of 3 series. So much so that the free agents were upset about balance. So I guess we have a situation where the Dragonstone Direwolves, coming off of their roster updates, looking quite good. Daito, I wanted to direct this question to you. The Dragonstone Direwolves picking up 3 new players. One of them is Android, the second is Luke, and the third, I believe, is Starfire, a former One Trick Pony now on the Direwolves. What do you think of the new additions, and what do you think of the Direwolves as a team?
I honestly love the Direwolves. I have a lot of friends on that team as well, and we still play together a lot, so we're still pretty close. But I played with Android a few times. Android is a very solid support. They're very consistent, and you never really have to worry about like having to ask for healing from them because they're always just kind of right there. Star is probably one of the best off tanks in our server, no doubt. I played with Star a lot, play comp together as well, and Star is just absolutely insane. Um, Other than that, the Direwolves just really have a strong team put together by Nymeria, of course. But their team is so incredibly strong with all these people who know how to play different roles, switch to different characters, and still find value, even though they may not play them as much as like other people. It's pretty crazy how good some of the players are and how talented some of the Dire Wolves are when it comes to team scrims.
Oh yeah, a very talented team. Currently the only undefeated team of the season. 2-0 record. Looking to have their first match with the roster updates in about 2 weeks, I believe, more or less. So I guess I'll direct the next question to Elbow, who is the team strategist for the Direwolves. After seeing the One Trick Ponies and the Shibas play, and also seeing some of the free agent matches, having your own free agent match, how are you feeling about the team going into the next one?
I think the most important thing with the team, and I've told my teammates this. I'm close with most, if not all, the people on the team. There's some people I'd like to get to know better, but the most important thing to reassure is the fact that we can't get cocky. We may be up 2-0, but I've told this to Narkton. The free agent game isn't necessarily part of the schedule, so I'm not gonna add it to our overall map win count this season. But we may be 2-0, but we have won 6 maps and lost 4. That is very close, and that some might say a little too close for comfort. So we are obviously feeling good. It's not a good idea to go into any match feeling negative. Ponies, obviously my old team from way back. I'm excited to play him again. Our last match was quite close. You said you thought it was one of the best games in server history. I'm inclined to agree. I will not be on Reinhardt this time. Thank the Lord. And we're interested to see if they try to pull out some Bastion nonsense again, because we've been discussing that a bit. And we're just excited to play with our new players in an official game. We picked up a bunch of people who are friends with already people on the team, so the adjustment period was quite easy. And I think that showed in our game versus the free agents. I heard from one of my close friends on the free agents, Skaboody, that he said we didn't really try much new things. But we haven't really experimented a lot with playing comps around like a wrecking ball. who's one of my favorite heroes to play, or my Winston, who I get told that I'm throwing when I pick by people named Narton. But we've never really tried to do things around that, and having someone like Star who's able to, Star is very good at multiple heroes, but having someone who's able to specialize in being such a phenomenal diva and still able to flex onto heroes like Biarisa has been really good for our team. And that free agent match I think gave us a lot of confidence coming in with our new players. I know some people on my team were still saying, "Oh, we're still like the best team in the server." We just picked up people who are better. But the reality is you can have every Masters player in the server, but if they don't mesh, they don't mesh. You could still be the worst team in the server. But coming out of the free agents match, I definitely have a lot of confidence in my team moving forward. I know that I'm working with some great people, and I know that these great people get along. So I think the Ponies are gonna have something to worry about coming in because at the Direwolves we're not a team, we're a family.
Sounds like a commercial.
Uh,
Like
I
one
re-
of
I
those
rehearsed
like
it this
grocery
morning.
store commercials at the holidays. We're not a grocery store, we're a
Exactly.
family.
I feel like you kind of like wrote that down and we're practicing it like 3 times, bro. That just sound like it sounded beautiful, but it sounded too beautiful. You feel me? This is not like you needed to put it in there. It's like god damn. Oh, it's like so cringy, man.
No.
Ugh.
I mean, the direwolves are I guess a family is a good word for it. As the ponies work very well together, I would say the direwolves, like, they have very consistent practices. They talk to each other probably it's what it seems to be on a daily basis, and yeah, they have like a genuine care for one another. So it definitely this family atmosphere that uh that exists on Nymeria's team is it's there and it's working. I mean, the team's currently 2-0. Close out like Elbow said, close matches, but I mean, when things come down to the wire, your team delivers, and that's the difference between the W and the L. So
yeah, I was just gonna say I've said it before. We're a very bend but we don't break kind of team. Like I said, we're married to Drunkle. Every family needs.
What did you say?
he's the drunkle, classic drunk uncle comes over for
Oh my god.
You don't know how you're related, but
classic drunk uncle.
But he's a good guy to have. Nightmare's great. I love him.
I think one of the interesting things when I look at the direwolves, especially playing against them in their scrim, it's like it's one of those things where it's like, yeah, like I make the jokes about the family thing, but it's like it's very true, like it takes a lot as a team personally to sit there and be down 2-0, like be down that kind of deficit and be like, hey, let's just strap in and get it done. That's like that's morale right there. A lot of people would just be mentally out. Like it takes a certain kind of team like relationship to do that. And I think it shows. Like it's like, for my team, like looking over that scrim a lot of times, like the main reason why we lost that team, like that game was just, you guys rallied and we did it, like instead of putting the game away, like, we just kind of like we tried some new things and we gave you guys an opportunity to get back into it. And that's just, as sometimes you can get away with it, but like with your team, I don't think your team is not one of those teams that you can just kind of let you can't let you guys have a rocky moment basically, because if you guys get that moment, you're just gonna run with it and you're like you said, you just won the game with it. We can't allow you to have that time to get together and be like, hey, let's get it. You gotta stop it right there. Like if we have that lead, we just need to end it. We can't allow you guys are like, I can't say that, it sounds bad. What is another analogy?
What are you gonna say?
I was about to say, like, you guys are like a cockroach, so you can't
Ah!
you gotta kill it. You can't just let it go. Like,
Okay,
but I don't
I
want
don't
to
know
say
about that.
that sounds bad. I'm just saying the analogy itself is what I'm trying to say. Is like very hard.
I'll take it.
you guys are very like you can't allow them to get away because if they get away, they just get away. You're just never gonna get there, you know.
You can't
And
give them room to breathe. That's how
You
I would.
really can't.
Yeah,
You
it's
just you
they
can't.
definitely are the team that bends and doesn't break. So I mean, in order to, I think if in order for the Ponies or the Shibas to beat the Direwolves, they have to. I don't want to say play perfect because that's not what I'm. That's not exactly what I mean, but like they have to keep their mistakes to the absolute minimum. Otherwise, the Direwolves are going to capitalize on those.
Yeah,
I
it's
think you're looking for like play smart. Like don't overextend, don't do stupid things. Just kind of like play more reserved and play smart.
I mean,
yeah,
I welcome you guys to do that, but they
yeah.
don't.
I just I think the biggest thing, especially playing against some of like a lot of these teams, and just kind of the way that I strategize for certain teams is a little bit different. What the way I strategize for the Shibas is just like, hey, we got to understand what these get what each character on the team can do and what at any point in time what they can do. For example, if Izzy's popping off on the Doomfist, we got to be prepared for the fact that Alex might pull out the Sombra, just to directly counter it. So we need to, what do we do to counter that? Like, that's the kind of thinking that I do when it comes to strategizing for against the Shibas. I just look at everybody, all your players on the team, and I'm just like, okay, what can they do? And what could they do to impact us, and how can we minimize that? Because it's very hard. Like I said, it's very hard to come into playing the Shibas with like a concrete plan. Like I think it's very foolish to like think like, okay, we're just gonna play aggressive against the Shibas and win. Like I don't think that that is smart because your team can change. Like your change into what directly counter. You have the players that can counter an aggressive kind of composition very well. So it's like you need to be a little bit more flexible about what you do. And then it's like when it comes to the direwolves, it's like, okay, what we need to do with the direwolves is that we need to understand the play style of the direwolves. Like I haven't been. I wish I could have saw the draft scrim because I don't have a lot of like what to go off of because I know what the old direwolves were before the draft, but like from what I can hear. From what I've seen and heard from like what happened in the free agents, I can kind of see that it's a little bit of the same, but the main point is that if we have something that's working against the direwolves, we just need to keep going with it. Can't change anything. We can't give you guys we can't like you said we can't be our own worst enemy against the
Mhm.
we have to play not perfect, but we can't make dumb mistakes. It's just something that we can't afford because then it's like you guys get back into it, whether or not it's like, I get out of position, you guys kill me, and then you guys are able to regroup, settle down, and kind of hold bunker down a little bit. Like we can't. And it's
That's
just
the plan.
that's just how it is. And maybe the plan changes when I see more stuff from the direwolves. I know that the ponies in the direwolf state. Well, when we were practicing one time, we got to play quick play match against you guys.
That was fun.
But I don't think from seeing that, I don't like that wasn't like your full like that was like everybody on your team, but it wasn't like at least I don't think it's gonna be the composition that I'll see playing
Yeah.
against you guys because
Yeah.
as much as it pains me, but I don't I don't think that Wolf is going to be playing the Ryan as much as he used to, which is sad to say the least.
Yeah. And Goose, if you try some of that Bastion nonsense again, I'm gonna go Genji, go behind him and hold ZL till
You,
that man.
you can try, but like I don't. I can kind of tell you Jotaro's not going to shoot into a deflecting. I mean, if he does, he does. But like,
I'll hold ZL. Doesn't
I,
matter. Right click.
biggest thing when it comes to the Bastion is that you're not just dealing with Jotaro, you're dealing with the whole team. Like
Ah,
and you're dealing with me too. So it's like if you think you're just gonna get behind me and like kind of like you can think that, but I'm a giant German man with an axe. So it's like sure, you can do
now,
that.
now you should go ball. I wanna ball 1v1 you.
Bruh, I don't play ball. You can Right, but I do not play that character, and I hate that character with a passion. Bruh, Narkton, I don't know if you were playing. You were playing ball on World, right?
Ball on
He
Ike.
did
Oh
the
yeah, that
he
was
did
me.
the funny
Yes, that
spin,
was
yeah.
me.
I had a moment when I was playing Ryan when we were on attack because Alex switched to the Bastion at that point, and I killed Alex with the Bastion, and all of a sudden I see you spinning. I charge, and I wasn't even aiming for you, but I get you with the pin, and we were able to get because you weren't able to stall. The reason why I hate that character right there is that if I don't hit that charge, you guys can win the game off of that. I hate that character
I mean,
so much.
that's what happened on the Shiba offense on Eichenwald. Is like we were just stuck at second point, and I was like, I'm switching to ball, and I'm just spinning. Like I don't care anymore, and I spun it. And I got you guys on a 4C9 to get to the third point, if I'm not
We're both
mistaken.
special.
It was
Yeah.
so stupid, man. That fight lasted way too long, man. Because I couldn't get an angle to pin you because of like the rubble and stuff. It was awkward, honestly. I was
Yeah,
just
it
like,
was strange.
it
I think I think I noticed that your team had very light CC, and that's when I was like, oh, this is the play. And I
literally-
mean, we've played against you guys before. The pony stall is incredible. It has to be one of the best stalls amongst the three
Lord,
teams.
I hate it.
bro, it's like it was to the point where I switched to Hog just to deal with it. I was like, I'm tired of this, man. I keep going into spawn and just dealing with this. Like you said, we didn't have any CC, so I literally switched to Hog. I was like, all right, cool. Well, if we're gonna do this, we'll do this. And it's just
Yeah.
I don't like the character. Like I understand, the character in itself. Like it's like okay, that makes sense. But it's like I'm glad they nerfed the shield because if he still had the shield where he gets like 1,000 health if he's around 6 people, that was just stupid in my opinion. Like yeah, think about it like this: if I charged the Hammond when he got his full shield, smacked him a couple times, maybe Earth shattered him, that still might not kill him. He still could get away with that, and I think that was just ridiculous as far as I'm concerned. The character should not be able to do that. He shouldn't be able.
Yeah, well, I mean, like this was when like Sigma and Orisa and like those heroes were super overpowered back then. Like when Ball was like he was a relatively mediocre character. And then when they nerfed Sigma into the ground, they nerfed a bunch of characters. Ash, Widow, like and then all of a sudden, wow, Hammonds literally can do everything. Zen can do everything.
Yeah.
So
They nerfed every main tank for a bit.
Yeah, exactly.
Or every other main tank.
It doesn't, at least for me, it doesn't make sense to have a character that is that mobile with that much health, because it's like I understand like like somebody like this is how I imagine Hamlin was made. Like some guy named Steve or something came into like the
What?
And he was like Jeff, we're like all right,
guy.
we're gonna have a character, right? He's gonna be very mobile. He moves like a hamster in like a hamster ball, but like he has like a grappling hook. He can just like he's really fast. And then when he has like a little turret mode like Bastion, but he like moves around and like really slow. But get this, when he gets around 6 people, he gets the shield health that goes up by like 700 health. All right, and I'm not done yet. He can also like it goes down slowly. So like he's this more of like moving ball that just can't be killed. And like Jeff was like looking at him and he was like thinking about it. I was like, God, you're a genius, Steve. But what should have happened is that Jeff should have been like, no, like smacked him, told him like he should not work at all. And like kept moving on. And like the character would have never been made. But unfortunately,
All
Steve
right.
had
All right.
Goose,
Speaking.
Can I just
Go ahead.
have one quick. Goose, I have a funny joke for you. Do you want to hear it?
I swear if it's a Hammond joke, man.
Rhyme mechanics.
Oh,
Runs made by a caveman.
bro. The thing about it is the reason why people don't understand how to play against Ryan is because they don't understand his mechanics, bro. Everybody's like, oh, just swing hammer, put shield up. But no, you got to be parrying every time. I had 45,000 damage on one of the maps, bro. That's not just putting up your shield. That's just parrying shit, right?
There was an actual ape as a tank character, and Ryan is the most monkey see monkey do character in the game. It's absurd.
I'm telling you right now, man. That's the reason why there's not as many Ryan mains out there, bro. Because everybody's like, oh, he's the ape character. No, he's an intelligent German man. Okay, all right. He knows what he's doing. He charges off the map strategically. Okay.
The tactical reset. I remember those.
Exactly. Tactical reset.
Oh my lord. All right. So speaking of OP characters, it's not going to be Hammond, and it's not going to be Reinhardt, and it's not going to be Winston. It might have caused some havoc amongst the free agents. Farah.
No. I feel like I'm obligated to talk about this.
Well, I
think.
want to give Daito a little bit of talking space
Yeah,
because
for
he
sure.
hasn't had a chance yet. Just very briefly, maybe like a sentence or two. I'm gonna go around the table. Daito, what do you think of Farah? We've seen the Bastion. Now we're thinking about Farah. What do we think of Farah moving forward?
I actually listened to you guys talking. It's really interesting. But as for Farah, I think Farah is really one of the more versatile characters. Um, that can really make or break a team fight, depending on what your team's composition is.
All right, and what do you think, Elbow, about Farah?
Um, to be honest, I think Daito really put it well. I think Farah is a very make it or break it hero. You know, if Farah succeeds, that you can point at Farah and oh, that's the reason my team lost. If Farah fails, you can be like, oh, we had a one trick Farah who was feeding Luke.
And then Goose King. Last thoughts on Farah.
Um,
Oh no.
I think simply with Farah, it's just if you don't have a good hit scan, she just wins games. Like that's just my opinion on it. You know, bad hits can't equal Farah OP.
Yeah, it seems like, and even then, like if you have a good hit scan player, I mean, it's because it's a Nintendo Switch. It is challenging to hit those shots, especially if it's like a pharmacy. So it's almost possible like you have to have two hit scans, or you have to have like a hit scan that is basically pocketed at all times.
Yeah, I mean, it makes things so much harder when she's pocketed. You know, it's just because it's
Yeah,
like you have to hit shot damage. Like you have to do like I think two headshots with McCree to kill her. You know, because it's like if you don't do that, she's just gonna get killed. You can't like chip away at her. Like
and
she
there's
doesn't have.
damage fall off. So it's like if you're
Yeah,
not even within distance, like your two head. Maybe it's possible the two headshots at distance might kill her, but a pocketed far it probably won't.
yeah. No, it's just it's dumb because it's like it's so simple, but yet it's so hard in the same in the same sense. Because it's like you look at this character and you're just like you said, you're on a Switch, you know, and it's like it's really hard to hit those shots. So you have to be like really kind of cracked to just kind of deal with it. Like I know for like I don't play hit scan a lot because I don't like the fact that like sometimes when it comes to me aiming, it's just like I play Reinhardt, okay? Like to simply put, I play
Mhm.
Reinhardt. I don't play him because of aim. Like I like hitting my fire strikes with aim, but like I don't aim a lot with him. Like I aim sometimes, but I don't like aiming. That's not something I like doing. So it's like playing against Afar. It's just like you're all you do is just aim at her, and it's just like ugh, it's annoying. And it's just
It must have been annoying for the free agents. That's all I have to say. I wasn't there. I don't know what happened. It must have been. And
Uh
speaking of free agents, we had the one trick ponies face off the free agent roster, and then we had the Direwolves face off the free agent roster. As it stands, there are no more team versus free agent roster scrims on the schedule. So any of them that were scheduled were canceled. Any quick thoughts on that? I'll open that for the floor.
so like this. It's never happening again. Is that what you mean?
So right now they're canceled, and sorry, I should have added more. And the goal for the free agents, I think, moving forward is, or at least for scrimming, for them to get scrim time, is to incorporate them in closed, like integrated closed team practices. So I think the Direwolves were trying to do one of these. I don't know if it actually happened. I'll assume it did. And then I saw their idea and I thought it was a good idea, so I just copied it. And we just had a
naturally.
in-house. Hmm?
Naturally. Continue.
No, naturally, yes. And then we had an in-house Shiba scrim where we brought some free agents in and we basically mixed it up, two teams. I think four Shibas on one team and four Shibas on the other, and then like two or three free agents on each team or something like that. And it ended up being like a pretty good experience. I think the free agents had a good time. The Shibas had a good time playing with each other and some new people. So I think that was a good move. And I think that's how we're going to use how the free agent roster will be playing with the teams moving forward.
Yeah, I think that actually sounds pretty cool. Like I think like in my opinion, I like the ability to like have the free agents play. Like I think that the free agents like because I know that there was like a lot of drama and stuff like that, but I think in general, like the free agents themselves, a lot of those players are really good. You know, like when we were playing against them, like for example, like you had Bufferisa and Natsuki, they were doing very well against our team. That like quite frankly, like the free agency, like they didn't have a lot of practice with each other, and they came in and they did pretty well. You know, like there's no shame. Like sometimes, yeah, you get blown out. Like sometimes it happens. You know, and I understand it's not the best feeling in the world, but like I feel like if you look at the glass half full, you look at the fact that you did so well against us. You know, like maybe it's just like they had a specific composition. I know the free agents had like somebody that left and stuff like that, so they have like a lot of different things impacting how the game went against the Direwolves, and it's like, yeah, it sucks, but I think in general there's a lot of good players on there. I don't think any of them should like hang their heads down because of what happened. You know, we all get blown out. I mean, there's times where the ponies get blown out. You know, that doesn't mean we're a terrible team. It just means it happens. You know, sometimes the
Mhm.
player's better than you. Sometimes you have unfortunate things happen, and that's just how it is. You know, it's not anybody's fault at the end of the day. At
Yeah.
least most of the time, it's just things happen.
I agree. I mean, I think my intention was for obviously to get the free agents more playtime, get the teams more practice. My thoughts in the beginning were like, okay, the free agents like they don't really know each other. They're just kind of like there because they're kind of they're waiting to see if they're getting put on a team, or they just enjoy subbing in for the teams when their players missing, like what for whatever reason they're on the free agents, they're there, and they're not really like meant to be a team. So like when they play against a team, obviously it's a mismatch of sorts. And then uh my thoughts in the beginning were that the teams might go a little easy on them because of this, but I don't think that happened. Or maybe it
I
did,
don't
who
want to talk
knows.
about it.
Huh.
I don't want to talk about it.
I mean,
So
it's like we have bad memories when it comes to going bad on like going easy on teams. So like I
well,
don't
the thing
like
is they're not a team. I think that's the takeaway from this, is that they're not like there's no centralized leader. There's nobody like truly creating strategies for them or having the practices. Like they're just a hodgepodge of players. And doesn't mean they're bad or anything. They just, you know,
Mhm.
they're just there, right? And they're just there because
Mm.
like they're together because they're in the server. They're not really together because like a captain drafted them, or like a strategist like picked out a composition for a particular map. Like, so I think that's why I don't want to say going easy, because that might maybe that's the wrong word. I would say like it's an opportunity for like teams to do things that are not typical.
Experiment. Yeah.
Exactly, because there's no
Uh,
consequence to it. Like for example, if
mhm.
I wanted to put, I'm trying to think of a weird example. If I wanted to put
Spirit on hog.
Spirit, well, no, Spirit's a pretty good hog. If I want to put Spirit on Mercy,
Oh
then
god.
yeah, I'm just like, oh, actually, like maybe I want to test out. I'm trying to think of an example. Like maybe I wanted to try out like Daito's Symmetra, and I want to do like Daito Symmetra compositions. And in order to do that, like that requires Spirit to play Mercy, or hell, I just want to torture Spirit and make him play Mercy. Like at that point
Amen.
you can do it. Or I mean, Spirit's a pretty good hog. Like it can definitely experiment
Yeah.
with like Elbow said, hog compositions with him. And or maybe maybe Daito, Daito doesn't really play DPS much, but like he can play DPS heroes. So like that's what I was thinking would be ideal for that.
Daito, I wanted to ask you a question since you were actually no one else here has been a free agent at some point, but you were. I wanted to ask like how your experience was with that at certain points.
Um, being a free agent was definitely really interesting. There was a scrim where I played for both the Direwolves and the Shivas, and that was a adventure to say the least. There's a
Thank you
lot
for
of
your
talent
service.
on both teams, and being able to play as a free agent for both teams is really interesting due to the fact that like even though the free agents aren't a team, we're basically used for like practice purposes, which you know we can also be used for subs, but at the same time, it's a good reminder that there's always somebody there who can either fill in for you or can help you practice.
Well said. Yeah, that's exactly how I view it.
Yeah, couldn't have said it better. All right.
Yeah, I think
Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, I think it's interesting. I guess with the free agents, like I said, a lot of a lot of the things that I was hearing while like some of the free agents were mad were like in my mind, I was like, if anything, you should be things you should be proud of. Like for example, like some people were talking about like like the difference in rank and stuff like that, and I was like, you guys really did like fight tooth and nail, and like if anything, especially how much success Buffer and Natsuki were having against like Jotaro and like Izzy like these like high level players like that should be like even if you lost the fact that you were like weren't in spawn the whole time like that's like in my opinion, I see that as like a something to be proud of to look at. I mean, it might just be like the way that I look at things, but I see that as a win, So I was like I was kind of confused, but like I said, at the end of the day, I didn't see the match, so I didn't see how bad it was or anything. But like from what I was hearing, I just felt like there was like more and more reasons to like be a little bit more optimistic about it. Because like you said, at the end of the day, like the free agents, they're not an official team. They're a lot more of just, a random group of people put together and what they were able to do with that is like it's great. So like of course there's gonna be times where you might just get blown off the map, and just not do anything. That's gonna happen. It's just something that happens, especially if some of these teams just prepare. Like all they've been doing is preparing for scrims. So like when they come at you with stuff, they've been practicing it for a while, and you just kind of have to like deal with it. Like if you can overcome it, that's even better. Like if somebody steps up and they're just like, okay, this is what we need, and we can do that. That's great. But at the end of the day, I think that you could still look at that scrim and see what certain people did and kind of, be like, okay, this person was doing their best. And I think the beautiful thing about the scrims that happen with the free agents is that they get a chance to kind of show off their skills and stuff. And I know like sometimes when you get blown off the map, it's hard to like really show off your skills, but like you can still do things right. Because if I was a team captain and I was looking at the free agent scrim and I see like player A is over here, trying his best to like get some kills, take advantage of somebody being out of position, acknowledging like that some people are out of position and stuff like that, like actually trying, like that's something that I take note of. I'm not gonna look at that one person that's just waving high and spawn, I'm just gonna be like, okay, this person just doesn't give up because that's not what I want on my team. I want somebody that's gonna keep fighting because there's gonna be some times in the scrims where we get blown off the map, and like, are you just gonna sit there and just wave high in that match, So it's like that's just kind of how I see it. And like I said, I'm not your average person, so of course not everybody's gonna look at it like that. But I think that if I were to like have advice for anybody on the free agents, I would like look at it like that, and maybe things will make more sense, and maybe things won't be as bad.
Yeah, I mean that's a good point. I didn't think about it like that. Like definitely from a team captain perspective, like if I see someone like in a very bad situation, like let's say the map's not going very well and they're in spawn like emoting, like I'm not gonna pick that player up. So
Yeah,
yeah, that's a good point. I didn't even think about that.
yeah, it's just
hmm?
perspective.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, I mean, with the free agents, I think we're gonna move over to integrated practices. We're gonna see how that goes, and then we'll change it up if we have to. For the next thing, we've talked a little bit about some of the matchups earlier. We've got 2 matchups left of this cycle. We have One Trick Ponies versus Dragonstone Direwolves, and then tentatively scheduled. I haven't updated the schedule yet. Tentatively, the week after Direwolf or Shiba Direwolves. Tentatively. Still making sure it works with everybody's schedule. And by everybody, I mean me and Nymeria. But tentatively, it will be the week after that. So for the Direwolves, it's going to be a difficult 2-week stretch, match after match. So I wanted to go around the table and just quick predictions. What do you think the record will be? Who do you think is going to win? And just very briefly, why?
I want to hear Goose's predictions first because he's he's only on one of the teams playing. I don't want to give mine because I feel like mine are going to be obvious.
I mean, yeah.
You mean for like the Shibas versus the Direwolves?
Both games. But...
Oh, both games.
So I guess we'll start with One Trick Ponies versus Direwolves. And Goose, which team do you think will win? What record? And just very very briefly why?
There is a right answer.
There is like,
We'll find out what it is soon.
saying it as bias thing. Like I think, at least from what I've heard, like I think that my team, I think the Ponies can win this, but I think that if certain things aren't met in practice, there's a high chance that the Direwolves could win. We've got to experiment with some things and get and practice a little bit more. So it's like
Oop.
when it comes down to I think it could be anybody's game. That's what I'm gonna say. I know that's not really an answer, but I'm gonna say it's anybody's game because if what I have cooking works, I think we win. But if we are not able to practice that enough or get that down pat, we might just lose it. So I'll say anybody's game for the Shibas and the Direwolves. I'm gonna be honest with you. I think I'm gonna take the Shibas. Just to be completely honest with you, like it's no slander to the Direwolves or anything. It's just I look at the Direwolves roster and I look at the Shibas roster, and I just if the Shibas are able to do what they did with us, minus the staying on high ground for the escort maps, like if they're able to could do that, like just strategically change like what they're doing on a consistent basis. I think that looking at what the Direwolves team, I think it's going to be very hard for them to match up because it's just they have a lot of people that kind of specialize in certain things. Like they have Wolf that's kind of getting away from the Ryan one trick, but right now he's been only been experimenting with like Ryan and Roadhog. And then you have Starfire who specializes with the Diva, and then you kind of have the Orisa, and then you have Elbow that's kind of more of a flex. And then DPS wise, you kind of have you have Nymeria, and then you have Nymeria who plays the Torb and other. I don't know what else Nymeria plays, but you have Nymeria, and then you have I don't know, like Luke. I don't know exactly what Luke plays, but I know he plays Fire very well. Then you have your supports, and it's just from what I know about those players, I think the thing that I am interested to see is how well your team adapts to the changes that the Shibos are going to bring to you. Because if your team has only one, like I'm not saying you have one plan, but if your team comes into the Shiba scrim thinking that you can just dominate them with like a Far Mercy, I think that that's going to be you can have a rude awakening per se for that. It's just that they're very flexible. You cannot underestimate the depth that this team has because that will be your downfall. You have to be prepared to try anything because the thing that you found out is that the most abstract thing was the thing that worked against the Shibas. The one thing they weren't expecting worked out well. You just got to be creative. And I'm not saying you can't be, but from what I've seen from like roster wise, like what I see from your roster, it's just I think it's going to be very very hard. I'm not saying you guys can't do it, but I think you guys need to prep really well for it. And that's what I'll say to keep it short.
What's the scoreline prediction?
The score for maps,
Yeah.
I'll give for like the Shibas and the Direwolves. I'd say like probably 3-2. There's a chance like if we keep into the fact that you do what I said, then I think it could go 4-3 or something like that. I don't know how it goes, but it'll go to the last map if you do that.
Oh, okay.
You'd have to draw, but
All right. So
Yeah.
so Goose is gonna, I think, 3-2 Shibas or Direwolves.
3-2 Shibas if they don't prep well, but if they do prep well, I'll say that it's anybody's game. I know that's a really bad
That's
option,
fine.
but
That's fine.
that's just how I think about it.
Okay, so Goose says anybody's game for Ponies, Direwolves, and then 3-2 Shibas
Shibas
or
favorite.
anybody's game for the next match. Elba, what do you think?
what do I think? So I'm the game I'm right now, probably just because it's closer, is the Ponies Direwolves game. Because I think that the Ponies are a particularly explosive roster because I feel like to an extent we know what we're getting to with the Shibas. I feel like Shibas and Direwolves kept an equal amount of players, but Ponies got rid of one more. So there's less of that core that we're used to playing against, and even then some of the people who are kept aren't really particularly in, I don't want to say a starting role anymore, but they're getting less playtime than they used to. Like Pest, like we used to be able to think, okay, we're gonna play to counter a Hog, or we're gonna play to counter a Hog Reinhardt. But now we have to come into thinking, hey, we have to counter a Ryan Saria, or God forbid, Pest plays Winston or something. So I think Kovacs is also a really under the radar pickup. I just wanted to say that I've always been really impressed with how Kovacs played every single moment I've watched at Zarya. Um, but the Ponies game is what I'm anticipating right now. I will say that Goose, we have been practicing, and we are also taking some inspiration from Ponies and going for a bit of off meta, some stuff that hasn't particularly been seen in scrims too much yet. So keep your eyes peeled for that.
Biggest thing. Gotta
Yeah.
be a
Fitting in is cool and all, but sticking out is something else.
All right.
Yeah.
So what record do you think it'll be? Who do you think will win, and what record?
For Ponies Direwolves, I am gonna take Direwolves, and I'm sorry, Goose, but I'm coming with confidence. I think we're taking it 3-1.
3-1 Dire.
I think we keep the pressure Direwolf.
Confidence, my man. Oh my goodness.
Big confidence. Big confidence.
I think we have. I think the prediction could come back to bite me in the ass, and Goose, we're boys, so you can tell me I told you so.
Big. All
You're
right,
getting
and then we've got a couple more topics to get to. So just Elbow
I'll speak
on
for this
Shiba's Direwolves. What are you thinking?
Shiba's Direwolves. Yeah, this is a nerve-wracking one. My predictions already this season for games I've watched and games I've played, and I've kind of gotten boomed. I've gotten one right. And that was the first Direwolves game. That's the only prediction I've gotten right so far. Because I predicted Ponies in the last game against the Shibas. So good job, Narkin. You ruined my predictions.
You're welcome.
But the Shibas game is definitely worrying. I don't know. The Shibas have just been historically quite dominant in the server, and the people who have been dominant are still on that team. I think if we are gonna win, it's gonna be something we have to prepare for. Because you guys are saying Direwolves are the team. You have to minimize your mistakes to be able to beat them. But I think how we saw it coming into the Shibas was we had to minimize our mistakes coming in to beat them. I mean, obviously you have to do that to beat any team. But we definitely felt like an underdog in that sense, and I still feel like we're an underdog now. I think we just know how to pull through when it comes in, which is why I'm going to predict 3-2 again for Direwolves. I think I have faith in my fellow brothers and sisters on the team to come in clutch when it matters most.
Of course. All right, 3-1 Direwolves against the Ponies, and 3-2 Direwolves against the Shibas is Elbow's prediction. Daito, last but not least, what do you think? What are your predictions?
Narkin, you got to go 2 after him.
I might defer. I haven't decided.
I think Narton might have the same feelings as I do, as like we're both on the same team. I have to say, give me just one. All right. You guys can hear me, correct?
Yeah.
All right. My mic just cut out for some reason. I don't know why. I have to say for Shiba Direwolves, I think probably it's gonna go down to 3-2 in favor of the Shibas. I've been watching a lot of Shiba matches, and I feel like I have a really good idea of how each Shiba plays and how each Direwolf plays as well. And on top of that, I'm ready to give it my all and play into counters if I need to. I know my team is ready as well, and I know our team strategist is looking into that as well. But I think Shiba Direwolf is really gonna be the biggest match probably in server history, and how close it's actually gonna be. Like I believe it's gonna come down into like seconds in overtime. Like if someone steps off a point for like a second, game will end.
Crushing. That second will be crushing. I just wanted to come in and say that. Period. But
It will be a big. It's going to be a big night for whichever team wins, and a very sad night for the other team. That's for sure. That's a big match. And then, so you're saying 3-2 Shibas against the Direwolves, and then what do you think about the Ponies versus the Direwolves?
I mean, the Ponies have a really strong team, but I've got to give praise to the Direwolves where praise is due. I'm going for 3-1 in favor of the Direwolves.
3-1 Direwolves over the Ponies. Daito's prediction. So you're going with the same as Elbow, 3-1.
I am. The both teams have a really strong roster, but like Ebo said, the Direwolves kind of, I don't know how to really word that, but a lot of them specialize in certain characters, and they're good at those characters. And I think that if the Ponies play into counters, they might be able to even it out. But I know that if they do not, the chances of them winning will be a little slim.
All right, all right. If I have to go, I would say for Ponies Direwolves, it's gonna be 3-2 somebody. And I'm gonna use Goose's answer. I don't know. Like whichever team gets the most sleep and is ready to play. I think it's gonna be a big match for the Ponies. And I was gonna say this in the beginning of predictions, but I forgot. Is that to get to grand finals, there's each team plays 6 matches. So and you have to be one of the top 2 teams. So Ponies right now 0-3, like they have to win out. If they don't win out, they're not considered for grand finals. So for Ponies, it's do or die. It's probably their biggest match this season. So that's why I think that the Direwolves, a great team. Obviously, they've been practicing a lot. Ponies, definitely held their own against the Shibas in the Pony Shiba scrim. But I mean, like I just said earlier, for Ponies, it's do or die, and I think that they have to know that by now, and like they're gonna play with everything they got, because this is this very well could be their last match for contention. Because I think if you do the math, it's like the team that is a team that's considered. So I'll break it down. The team that's considered has to go 3-3 or better. If you get 4 wins, you're automatically in. No other team can really beat you at that point. But if you go 3-3, then you can get in on tiebreakers. Since the Ponies and tiebreakers will work, is basically it's map wins against the tied team. So for example, if the Ponies are 3-3 and the Shibas are 3-3, the Shibas will make it over the Ponies because the Shibas have won 2 matches against the Ponies. And let's say hypothetically the Ponies win the next match in the next cycle, like the Shibas are still ahead 2-1, so the Shibas will get in at a tiebreaker. So that's how. So for Ponies, they have to win out and hope that breakers go their way. So it's like I said, it's do or die. So it's gonna go. I think Ponies Direwolves is gonna be 3-2. God knows what team it's gonna go to. I have no idea. For Shibas Direwolves, I mean, I'm incredibly biased. I literally managed the Shibas. I think that one, it's gonna be very stressful. I don't even know like how I'm gonna prepare. Like I've been brainstorming things, but like I'm trying not to worry about it until it gets a little bit closer. But that will be, I don't know, more than likely that will be 3-2 as well. I'd like to say it goes to the Shibas, but as the scrims have continued, and we've seen all these surprises and all these breakout plays from all these players, like it really could go either way as well. So I think 3-2 anybody's game for Ponies Direwolves. I think 3-2 Shibas, but very, very close. Could also swing either way, but my fingers are crossed for the Shibas. So yeah, those are my predictions. We've talked a lot about the teams. This will be the last point I bring up about the 3 teams we have. MVP players. We've got a lot of great players. I want you guys to pick one from each team, and a very brief why you picked them. And we can start with Daito. We'll go in reverse order.
Okay.
So you can start with
Shibas.
Yeah, Shibas, your MVP
Are
player.
Are we doing like all teams, like one from each?
One from each.
Okay. For Shibas, it's really hard because we do have a lot of good players, and I was kind of thinking back and forth on this. I was like, am I gonna come out and say like Cheesy, or am I gonna say like Azure for support? Cheesy is a very, very solid DPS player, and I'm really glad that he's on our team and he wins team fights. But at the end of the day, I have to give it to Azure for keeping our team up and making team fights last as long as possible. Not to mention the sleeps and ult cancels she gets and the value she gets off of her nades that allow us to win team fights just super easy against like certain teams and tanks. I just gotta give to Azure for the Shibas.
All right, and we'll
Um,
do Shibas, and then we'll go around, and then we'll go through all the teams. We'll just keep going around.
mm, mm.
So Elbow Shibas, one name.
Okay, so there were two I was stuck between, and it was cheesy and Azure, like Daito was saying. But yeah, the more I think of it, the more I think if there's been a player to make very substantial differences on support in games, I mean, of course, like all support players have done amazing. But I really want to say it's Azure. I have flashbacks to this watching this one game. I think it was against the free. I want to say it was against the free agents or something. I'm not sure. But there was this Sigma, and I saw Azure hit the most absurd sleep from like a football field away, and it was like uphill too. So I don't know, just like that ability to pop off, not necessarily in the kill feed, but like just with the sustenance for the tanks and still being able to get value out of abilities. Because Ana's abilities probably, in my opinion, Ana has two of the best abilities in the game, probably two like top 10 abilities. And Azure is someone who knows how to find just extraordinary value out of those abilities. So I'm gonna give it for the cheapest.
All right, two is your votes. Goose King, what do you think? One name.
You're putting me on spot here. I don't know. Even with having time, just playing go players. I definitely see the Zer point. Out of everybody, I don't like playing against Zer. She makes the game unfun for me. Specifically, just from all the points they said before, the nades prevent me from being aggressive. The sleeps prevent me from being aggressive. It's tough to play against. Um, if I'm gonna be like on it, like 100%, like what from my opinion for like playing against somebody that it's very like I hate playing against in a sense. Uh, I'm a I know this might be a curveball, but I'm gonna give it to Cheesy just because like out of like especially from like the last map, like playing against like cheesy basically kind of helped win you the game on Nubani. Like he was in the right positions. Like even with myself, because the plan that we had for that was just to like follow me and rush, and that was pretty much what it was. And the only person that I really had trouble killing and like throughout that whole match was cheesy. He was just they couldn't kill him, and he was just setting your team up with so much. Like the plays that he was making was just helping your team get back into it like every single time. I see the Azure faults, but I think at the end, like Azure, like I think Cheesy, he just does it, man does crazy things and it works out for the team, so I'm gonna put my vote for Cheesy. No hate to Azure. Like I think she's a really great support, one of the best supports in the server, but I think at the end of the day, like I think Cheesy just built different.
Cheesy built different. I mean, yeah, he is. Cheesy's so good. Um, well, I mean, I'll give a vote. I'm very biased. I love my entire team. Everybody plays great. Everybody's got breakout moments. I mean, obviously Cheesy, Alex, Teehee, Spirit. Uh, there's just and obviously Azure and only three on the support, and Daito, of course, kind of doing this hybrid flexing on both roles with such, I don't know, finesse. It's really hard. They're all great. I can't really pick an MVP. If I had to, like, in terms of skill, I can't do it because there's just so many talented players. I would say in terms of like morale, leadership, taking initiative, it has to be Azure. Azure is like always the one saying, "Hey, let's get a practice going." She's really positive all the time. I remember she told me that after one of the scrims she cried, because it was just such a difficult game for all of us. Like she feels all the emotions we have, and like she manifests it, and like she is kind of at this point the heart of the Shibas in my opinion. So I mean, it has to be her. So now Daito. Actually, we'll go backwards. Goose King, tell me your MVP pick for the Direwolves.
Mm, an MVP pick for the Direwolves. I mean, from everything that I've seen with the Direwolves, if I'm being completely honest with you, I gotta go with Elbow. Like, I know I've heard some I think the reason why I say Elbow is because it's like I know Elbow as a person. I've known Elbow for like 4 years, maybe damn near 5 years, and he's like that guy that even how no matter how tough things kind of get, almost that kind of guy that like looks at things optimistically, like he gets down sometimes, obviously as everybody else does, but like he's still gonna give you like 110%, he might not be having the best game, but he's still gonna try to contribute in other ways. And I think as we discussed throughout the stream, like the direwolves are a family, and I think that Elbow is like, he sits right next to Nymeria, not just because he's the strategist, just because, like he's like that guy on the family that everybody can kind of rely on, and he helps make the team like make the family better in a sense. And I think the Direwolves wouldn't be the same without him. I think I look at that team and I'm like, if Elbow's not on there, I don't know if the family aspect's there. We went to a school where family was a big thing, and I think that Elbow it kind of resembles that motto very well with the team. And like I said, if there is like without Elbow, the family aspect, I don't see it happening as much. Like yeah, you could tell me that like Wolf or somebody like that is like the hype man and stuff, but I don't see that family aspect happening without Elbow. So I gotta give it to Elbow there.
Elbow with the MVP vote for the Direwolves. We also have a special guest, really quick before we get to Elbow's vote. It is Help joining us. Help is currently on the Free Agents, the manager, I believe, for No Gang, a out of server clan, and one of our good friends here on the server. Hi, Help. How are you?
Hello. I'm good. I just got home and I'm tired.
I don't blame you. You worked a whole day.
Yeah, lots of work. Work. How's it going with you guys? Elbow is family man. That's what I got.
It's true. Right now we're doing predictions. We finished predictions. We're just doing like MVP players from each team. So we finished with the Shibas. Now we're on the Direwolves.
Clearly, free agents. Me. No, I'm kidding.
And then
I agree though.
help MVP of the free agents. All unanimous. I agree as well. And so Elbow, I'm going to give the floor to you. Who do you think is the MVP of the Direwolves?
Well, like Narch, and like you were saying, it's hard to pick MVP because I've played with these guys and gals for a while, and I know that they're all beautiful snowflakes in their own way, and they all play really well. They all have their own amazing, unique personalities that makes me want to play with them more every day. And Goose really got me blushing with his take for me as the MVP of my team. I wouldn't personally give it to myself. I think personally I would peg myself as one of the weaker links on my team, at least on my off days. But I don't know. My pick for MVP of my team is honestly my pick for MVP of the server, at least at this point in the season, and that's Jeffroy. I wanted to give it to Valid because I know Valid just brings just this amazing vibe to every team she's on. I wanted to give it to Wolf because Wolf is my boy, and he feeds, but I love him. But I really can't. I don't think I can give it to anyone but Jeffroy. Jeffroy was. I played against him in ranked for a good 4 months before he joined the server, just on and off. I never really talked to him, but I've played against him a lot in ranked, and I've only ever seen him play Lucio at that point. And so I picked him to the Shibas when I was on the Ponies, and I'm like, well, shit. But now Jeffroy and I are on the same team, and I didn't know him well before coming into the Direwolves, but I was definitely intrigued by getting to know him better. I thought of him as a support player. I thought our support lock would be Valid and Joffroy. Obviously, that didn't fall through. But Joffroy stepped up. He played damage. He showed me that he's nasty on the hit scan, he's nasty on the Pharah, he's nasty on the Echo. He leaves a lot to be desired on the Symmetra. At the end of the day, like there's so much. I don't. If we win any of those games without Jafroy, I'm just gonna say it. Like he's the Hanzo. He's insane at. Shiba's game that went to 5 maps. We were squealing. We were being kicked down by the Shibas. We were down 2. You know, I would like to say I had a very good game on Hanzo and Hollow. That's not. Jafroy came in those next 2 maps, like just Superman taking off his shirt and doing what he does best, saving the day. And I'm so happy I've gotten to play with Joffrey because I know how insane he is. He's definitely one of the best players in the server. And I think in terms of a player who has been a massive contributor to his team, there's a better player for that choice than Joffrey.
Awesome. I mean, yeah, Geoffroy is flex extraordinaire. He can play so many different heroes, and he plays them all very well. And obviously very talented. So yeah, I mean, I have nothing but nice things to say about Geoffroy. All right, Daito, who do you think MVP for the Direwolves?
I have to say it's a privilege to say like I'm generally getting closer to a lot of the Direwolves players. Playing against Joffrey in comp is definitely very annoying. I hate it. I hate every single bit of it, but it's also a good thing, you know. It's a good type of hate. But I'm actually gonna give my MVP vote to Starfire. Starfire, in the course of every single scrim when she's on her team, she's always getting value, no matter what character she's on. She is always like in the front lines, leading her team, and she is just getting value on every single character that she's playing. So I have to give it a star.
Wow, we have 3 votes, 3 different players on the Direwolf team. That's cool. The first one was for Elbow, second one was for Joffrey, and now Starfire. And me, you know, I'm between 2 people, but I'm also gonna go against the grain. I think the MVP is actually Valid. I think Valid is like, she's very very talented, and but like in addition, I mean, obviously all the Direwolves are very talented. They're like, it's very similar to the Shibas. It's like they're all like, skill wise, they're all so good. So how do you really differentiate one good player from another? It's impossible. Like how do you tell, I don't know, Wolf's Ryan apart from Star's Diva? I mean, it's really hard to say. But for Valid, I think like not only is she always so consistent, but she's also very positive. She's like always has a good attitude about things. She's always very inquisitive. She's always eager to learn. I think she brings such good energy to the server and to the team. I think she's just wonderful. So I have to go with her. I think she's got to be the MVP. All right, and then oh, help! If you wanted to give an MVP for the Direwolves, you're more than welcome to. I don't know.
Oh,
You played against them one time
tiebreaker.
or a couple times. Well, we have a vote for 4 different people. So
So if I pick one of the 4, that means I pick the winner. Ding ding ding.
true.
I honestly, I would have to say, going off of my experience, playing against them in like an outside setting and anything, it would definitely be Elbow for me. He, particularly in the no gang scrim, like against the Direwolves, he definitely stood out the most. It was definitely a fight of the off tanks a lot of the times in that game, and Elbow was the off tank player for the Direwolves. So, I mean, everyone's so great. Nymeria, of course, will like have my heart vote. Because, you know, he's my friend. He's been in the no gang for a long time. Even, you know, if we're, you know, both busy in different paths and stuff, but he's always a no gang member to me. And he's always welcomed. But, you know, if I'm going off of what I know and playing against them, you know, I don't really know anybody else. And, yeah, I would definitely go Elbow.
Nice. Elbow was my
haha.
second pick. I couldn't decide. It was either Elbow or Valid. It was just like Elbow brings such good energy, and he's the rallier. And I kind of agree with Goose. I think that without Elbow, there's no way the Direwolves come back from the 0-2 starts that they had against the Ponies and the Shibas. Like it's him, like keeping everybody calm and reminding everyone to just keep playing the play the game, play the map as if nothing happens or nothing bad's happening or whatever. So yeah, great stuff from you, Elbow. Great stuff.
Elbow MVP. Pew, 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 pew,
Pew, pew, pew. All right, and then last.
My first title is the People's Elbow.
The People's Elbow, as they call him. All right, and then our last team, the One Trick Ponies. I'm gonna start with you, Daito. Who do you think is the MVP of the One Trick Ponies?
It's so hard to say because there's so many talented players on the Ponies that I really like playing against. At the same time, I don't, but it's a good thing, Karo for sure really stands out, just like how Kovacs and Kat. Jotaro is a big player on the Ponies. However, I don't think that Jotaro would get nearly as much value without his supports, so I have to give it to Kat.
Ooh. Cat is a force to be reckoned with, especially on that Mercy. Yeah, I mean, Cat's also like so fun, just a fun person, and willing to kind of like hang out with anybody and play Genshin.
I mean, she's a very versatile player too. I mean, she even in the scrim, I mean, she showed that like she's mastered a lot of different supports and that she knows what she's doing when faced with a challenge, like a different team or a different team composition.
True.
And she'll adapt to whatever her team needs.
Agreed. Good points. All right, Elbow, what do you think? One Trick Ponies.
Goose really threw the pooch on here because he's. I'm just gonna say I plan to give it to There were a couple people who stood out. I wanted to just give props to first. I think Rose had a phenomenal game on Lucio against the Shivas. But and I also think Kovacs obviously was great on Sorry. But an MVP isn't just people who are insane at the game, or just know what to say to the team. An MVP is someone who knows what his team needs and knows what to say, when to do it, and how to play. There's a lot of externals that come into being a player on any team, and there's even more external factors that come into being a team strategy. I think it's Goose King, because I've told Goose King this before. I told him it on his birthday last year. I don't know if he remembers it. Goose King is someone who I believe embodies the phrase "Be yourself. There's no one better." This is a guy who has made me feel welcomed in my life ever since I first met him. He's a great friend of mine, and I know that everyone on the Ponies has to see Goose as some beacon of just pure comical leadership, because this man will say, "Oh, wait for the signal. What's the signal? You'll know when you hear it. Caw." This guy, like Goose is someone who I know I'm never spending enough time with, because like he's someone who everyone loves to hang out with, because he just embodies the phrase "good vibes." And on top of that, he plays pretty sick Reinhardt. He doesn't know how to make a fucking sandwich, but he makes some bomb ass soup. Reinhardt. So I love Goose. I'm giving Goose the MVP. There's so many good players on the pony, so it's hard to pick.
Goose, the MVP from Elbow's Eyes. Goose, who do you think is the MVP of your team?
Oh, thank you, Elbow. That's so nice. That makes me feel good. I hate this question so much. It's like picking my favorite child, bro. I don't want to do it. I don't want to do it. I hate it. Because it's so hard, because it's like, you can make an MVP, like, in my opinion, you can make an MVP vote for like so many people. It's so hard for me. I can look at Jotaro's gameplay, easily say him, but I can also say the same thing for Carol. I can say the same thing for Izzy. I can say the same for Kat. It's very hard to just sit down and be like, this person does it, because it's like it's a team game, so it's very hard. Because it's like if one person's not there, that person might not be able to do the same thing without that person. So it's very very hard to look at it and say who is that person. And like I said, I because of that fact, I think I might I might just go and say in Caroline, because of the fact that without Caroline, I think we're just missing, like that piece of the puzzle. Like everybody's so like Jotaro and everybody, like I was going back and forth with like Jotaro and Caroline, because it's like without Jotaro, we're missing that, we're missing like Jotaro, you're missing Jotaro, and it's a big thing. But like when we're missing Caroline, we're missing like, that kind of, that one vibe. It's not the same, she works well with everybody on the team. I can ask her to play with anybody, and it works out very well. I haven't had a composition that hasn't really gone bad with her in it, and I think that having her on the team it just makes their team that more unique, in a sense, that just kind of, makes the pony's identity that much more interesting, in my opinion. And it's her mercy, like I said, it enables our team to be a better team. She helps us, pull off those bastions, or pull out the pirate ship if we want to. And the importance of that is just too much, in my opinion. I hate to pick a favorite, because I think all of them are MVPs in my eyes. But since I'm on the spot, I'm gonna go with Caroline.
Caroline, MVP from the ponies, from Goose's eyes. All right, help. I don't know how. Oh, you got to play against the ponies in the free agent pony scrim a few weeks back. Is that right?
I did.
You did. All right. Well, do you have a favorite?
I don't know, because like my brain wants to pick the biased pick and go with Kovacs, because he's the person that I know super well.
Go for it.
Um,
Kovacs, the pick.
but
Tell us about
I'm
him.
gonna wait. No, I'm
Oh.
gonna go and be a little shocking, and I'm gonna pick Jotaro. Just because Jotaro's a really good player. He's always scary to play against. We don't have the best relationship, but it's all love, and it's all, I just wish him success. And, he's always scary to go against. Definitely, even when his name is something weird and I don't recognize him, I always get a feeling.
There's a Hammond back behind me. Why is it targeting me? Oh god, it's Jotaro in the shadows.
Yeah, I just hear like creepy JoJo, like Bizarre Adventure noises in the background, like.
Oh my gosh. That's great. Okay, so we had one vote for Cat, one vote for Goose, one vote for Caro, one vote for Jotaro. Okay, we literally have all different players.
Take it away, Narkin.
Oh god. Okay, so the ponies is difficult for me. It might even arguably more difficult than my own team, because I used to, well, I mean, when the server was a baby server and there was only just, a small handful of people, the One Trick Ponies was the team of the server and the only team in the server, and we just played comp together. I was the captain of that team. I was the one that, did all the recruitment, or, sorry, I didn't do the recruitment, but I did, like, all the strategy, VOD reviews, like, I told people what heroes to play, like, I did everything strategic for that team. I guess that was the strategist at the time or whatever, but that role didn't exist. So the ponies has always been like a special team for me. It's like I even came up with the name. Like I love the ponies, and there's a lot of there's a lot of great players on the ponies. There's a lot of they're all good. I mean, if I had to pick like the best leader, I would say it's probably Goose. If I had to pick the best player to watch, it's probably Jotaro. I just fucking love watching him play. You can even see it in the VOD reviews. I'm like, oh my god, Jotaro's doing it again. Like it's just so exciting to see him get all these kills. And all the new players, like they're great. Kovacs, I mean, I was hoping Help was gonna say some nice things about Kovacs, but I'll do it. Kovacs used to be on a
I
team of
never
mine.
say nice things about Kovacs.
I will say nice things about Kovacs today. He deserves it. He's such a sweet soul. He's such a good team player. He's so positive. He's like the guy you want to go to the bar and have a drink with. Like, he's such a cool dude. And
That's true.
right. So there's just so many.
Many times of drunk Overwatch says yes.
Oh yeah, help knows. So there's so many great players on the Ponies. This is another individual pick. I'm definitely very biased, I will admit. I'm actually gonna pick Nam. And the reason I picked Nam is because she's probably one of the best captains. She's better than me and Nymeria. And the reason I say that is because she brings like the soul. She brings like the heart, and when she's mad, she's going to let everybody know she's mad. And when she's, having a good time, she's going to laugh, and like she's so personable, and she brings everybody together, and she drafts based off of vibes and like how, like how she thinks players will play together, and how, if they're going to be friends and all this stuff. And it fucking works. It's so weird. Like and every time like there's a breakout player from another team, like they were a former pony at one point, more than likely. Like it's so strange how that she's able to just like, I don't know, cultivate an environment where like players can really thrive and become great, and then the Shibas and the Direwolves just poach them. So I have to give it to Nam. That was all three teams, right?
Yeah.
Perfecto.
Yeah, that was all three.
All right. So, I think we talked about everything I want to talk about. Also, the stream's getting a little long. So, a few things in the server. I already mentioned it earlier, but just because for those who didn't hear it and also helps here, we're going to move away from free agents versus teams, and we're going to do mix free agents in with integrated closed practices with the teams. So, for example, if the Direwolves want to have a team practice, they can have their roster, mix it into a little, mix it with a bunch of free agents, and then create two teams and have like a closed custom game where they can fight each other and they can practice against certain compositions. I tried to get like one team of Shibas that was going to like practice the thing I wanted them to practice, and then the other team was supposed to quote unquote look like the Ponies. So they were playing like heroes that I expected the Ponies to play on certain maps, and that's kind of like how I wanted it to go. It didn't exactly go that way, but like that's the goal. So if free agents can definitely get some playtime there, and then obviously like, I talked to a bunch of free agents on that day. I got to see a lot of gameplay I wouldn't have normally seen, so I'm hoping that'll be good for the strategists and the captains to kind of see what the free agents are capable of, help them with recruiting, blah 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 blah. The next point is the formation of a new roster. This roster is going to be a Discord VC team. It has a name. I will reveal the name soon. I'm still working on all the details. Long story short, this roster is going to be an opt-in roster. It is going to be the players will get to choose whether they want to join the roster or not. That's the caveat. And if they choose to do so, they lose eligibility to join the draft teams. So like the Ponies, Shibas, Direwolves. And obviously the team captain of the new team. Oh, I almost gave the name. Woo, that was close. The team captain of the new team will decide, if they want to accept that player or not. And what's special about this opt-in roster is that it will be a Discord VC team exclusively, as in the team will use Discord VC for their comms. That is what's special about this team, and that's also the reason why it's opt-in. The reason being is there are some players in our server that are great players and very fun to play with. They just don't have functioning in-game VC for whatever reason. And there are some players that have in-game VC but don't really care if they're using Discord VC or not. So I want to cater to those players, and we're having the opt-in roster created. Another thing about this team is that there's no balancing. I can't. There's no way to balance it. Outside of, making an SR average or whatever. I have no idea how to balance this team. Maybe I'll figure it out later, but as it stands, there's no balancing of this team. So I will schedule, once the team has been created, I will schedule scrims for this opt-in roster against the in-server teams. So the Ponies, Shibas, Direwolves, and they will go on the scoreboard. So they will be real matches. Well, they'll go on the scoreboard, but they won't be real matches for season 1. But season 2, they will be considered real matches. So that is the opt-in roster. And then the other thing I wanted to mention while we're here, and to reward those who have been watching the stream for a little over 2 hours, is there is a 4th team coming. They will begin during the 2nd season, when the 2nd season starts, and the team captain has been selected. So you guys can get excited about that. And the team has a name. But you guys don't get to find out what that name is or who that team captain is until much later. But I want to let you guys know. And if the floor has any thoughts, you guys are more than welcome to talk.
I mean,
so like the team captain, right, and the new team, did they know who they are, or are they still in the dark too?
The 4th team has a team captain, and that individual knows who they are.
Ah, okay.
I have to word that very carefully.
If you say some type of pronoun, this detective work is about to go into overdrive.
Yeah, we're gonna go into roles and just look at who
I will also
he, him
say,
pronouns.
oh gosh, I will also say that this team captain of the 4th team may or may not be in the server.
Oh.
All right, let's go. Like 10 days. I got you, Griff. I'll figure it out.
And just to clarify, the 4th team will participate in the draft for season 2.
When is season 2?
Ooh.
Season 2 will start when season 1 ends. No, I'm just kidding. Season 2 will start more. So it gets complicated because me and Nam's and even Nymeria's schedule has been getting a little hectic lately. We're just scheduling scrims when both teams are available. So right now, cycle 2 ends in early June, I think, or mid-June.
Mm-hmm.
And then we have a cycle 3. And that cycle 3 will hopefully, quote unquote, last a month and a half. Because of our schedules being a little bit chaotic lately, it's possible that might go a little longer. And I also know that our server in general is going to be moving a little bit towards draft scrims, a little bit we're going to lean more into draft scrims, because I think that the fact that everybody gets to play in those and everyone has a lot of fun, I think those are I really enjoy those, and I think that's the highlight of our server, even though I love the teams, don't get me wrong. So it's possible that cycle 3 might be a month and a half, possibly 2 if it gets, if the scheduling gets really bad. So and then after that there might be X amount of time off. I would say no longer than a month. So season 2 probably will start in fall.
Okay, that's cool. Yeah, no, that makes sense. Sounds cool.
Yeah, that's my expectation. So
I'm pretty excited for those.
Yes. The opt-in, you guys will find out a lot more about the opt-in roster probably in the next week or two. As for the 4th team, you guys will find out more probably towards the end of cycle 3. I'll start unveiling more information for you. A lot to think about, I'm sure.
Narkin,
Yeah.
is there an end goal for how many teams you want to have in the server?
Um. So at this point, it's kind of like as many as is manageable. In addition to, uh, like the natural server growth, I think people have noticed that we don't actively invite people to the server, except for like bouts of where I advertise for a day. Some people jump in, and then magically there's a free agent scrim. The Direwolves play them, and they leave. So outside of those events,
Would that be?
I'm just kidding. Outside of those events, we don't get a large influx of players, which I like. I like the fact that we just get a little bit trickle in here and there. It makes everything a lot better. I'm also not really looking to expand the moderation. I know, sorry, this is a long answer. I'm not looking to expand the moderation team with the server growth as well. So, as it naturally grows and there is room for a team, and there is we also don't vote on. That's another thing I want to make clear is that we don't vote on team captains. We don't, we don't really take. I don't know how to explain. Like, no one's ever asked to be one. That's the first thing. And number two, like, we've kind of just we find the person, and we just, like, I don't know. We just know that's the person. I don't know how else to explain that. So it's like a lot of things have to come together to form a new team. Like, forming a new team is very hard and has its growing pains, as we saw with the beginning of the Direwolves. Like before the season 1 roster, even before that, there was a lot of growing pains. And so, as you guys can tell, it's difficult to make a new team. So with all of that being said, I think if the end goal were to be, I don't think I would ever go above 8. I think that would be my stopping point. I would be like, okay, 8 teams. This is probably where I'd want to, where I'd be very happy with. However, I'd also say that I'm not eager to make 8 teams, if that if that makes sense. I'm not like actively looking. I'm like, oh my god, I have to have 8 teams, otherwise I'm gonna die. Like, if it happens, it happens. So
You don't want to bite off more than you can chew.
Yeah, exactly. It just as naturally as it happens. And if we stop at 4, I'm fine with that too. I have no problem stopping at 4. So yeah. Oh, any other questions? I mean, these are great, actually. I'm sure a lot of other people have questions too, or have the same questions.
I just have to say, like, I'm really excited, but the suspense is killing me. I had been speculating that, because I noticed there's like a big influx just recently of like people coming into the server, and I was thinking about it. I was like, there's a lot of people that are free agents, but there's a lot of other players that are just now joining, and I was like, he's gonna make a 4th team sooner or later.
I was thinking the exact same thing. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think for next season you're gonna see 4 teams and the opt-in roster, which will be a team as well and have its own name, and ideally will have a captain as well. So in theory, quote unquote, next season there will be 5 teams. The only reason I'm not saying 5, the number 5, is because the opt-in roster is still a little experimental. It's similar to 3v3 scrims, where it's kind of like a side project. I don't really have Nom's help or Jester, or I don't really have anybody helping me with it, which is fine. Like, they're all busy people. I also don't really expect it from them. So that's why it's kind of like, if it works out, I'm really happy. If it doesn't work out, it's okay. Like, we did the best we could. So with the opt-in roster, I'm a little more flexible. That's why I'm not calling the opt-in roster the 4th team, if that clears up some things. Because it may not succeed, and it's okay if it doesn't. But I still want to put a good effort for the players that are Discord VCers. So that was that. Oh, I gotta read chat. Let's see. Batmoo, please 10 per team. 10 per team. So we did 11 preseason, and 11 was too many. And then we've done 10 in NOL along many moons ago, and 10 ended up being too many as well, especially when the majority of your roster is active. Now, if the majority of your roster is inactive, then 10 might not even be enough. You might need like 15, and still then you might struggle to actually get a team of 6. So the goal for our server has always been active players. Inactive players will tend to get dropped from team rosters, or they'll just, I mean, obviously if you're inactive, you're not going to be participating in draft scrims, you're not participating in, well, basically anything. So at that point, I mean, we kind of let them stay in the server, but there are times where we kind of go through it and it's like, this person hasn't said anything in 2 months, then we'll probably just kick them from the server, because we don't really, like, I'm not interested in server numbers. I don't care about being a big server. So I just want, good people in the server. I want fun games. I want active players. So if there's people that are, either don't want to play with us or either don't want to play Overwatch on Switch, then that's fine. It's not a big deal. Let's see. Only 3 says, if there's 4 teams, is it possible for the season to end with 2 draft team winners? So this season will end with 1 winner, and it will only be either the Ponies, the Shibas, or the Direwolves. There may or may not be games with the opt-in roster. Those will be put on scoreboard, but I won't put them towards the actual season matches. So you guys don't have to worry about any changes to like grand finals and the winner and stuff like that. But yeah, season 2 there will be 4 teams for sure, and then potentially a 5th team with the opt-in roster, depending on how it goes. And let me talk a little bit about grand finals. To be clear, with grand finals, it's going to be a best of 7. I'm going to schedule it. I'm going to do my best to schedule it on a day that both captains are obviously available and the maximum amount of players that can play will play. Obviously, best of 7 could go very long. So I'm going to try and probably push it a little bit earlier in the day. So it'll probably start at like 7 p.m. Eastern, which is like 4 p.m. Pacific. Another thing about it is seeding will matter. And the reason seeding will matter is in grand finals, the highest seed will pick the first map. And after that, the losing team will pick the next map, and so on and so forth. So, for example, if Team A is the higher seed, they'll pick map 1, and then let's say Team A wins, then Team B will pick map 2, and then let's say Team B loses map 2, Team B will pick map 3, and then it'll keep going until a team has won 4 maps. Okay?
I have a question.
Yes.
I just know personally, because I watched like Overwatch League, that a lot of the time the maps, the maps aren't just, the maps are picked by the loser, but the map type is already decided, like the order. It's like control, hybrid.
Yeah, good question. Yes, those will be predetermined. Yes. So
Okay.
before any team picks any maps, I will let everyone know map 1 will be control. I mean, it usually always is. I mean, maybe I'll change it up. I haven't decided, but probably will be control. And then map 2 will be, usually it's 2 CP and so on and so forth. You guys get the drill. But yeah, I'll predetermine what type of map it is, and then the losing team can choose amongst the list of those map types. Good question. Cool. Well, I don't see any more questions in chat.
I have one more question.
Yeah, go for it.
Okay. Out of the players on this new mysterious 4th team, who's your favorite so far?
Wait, the mysterious 4th team?
Yeah, who's your favorite player on this team so far?
Well, there's only one.
Yeah, no, I'm trying to get you to reveal it.
Oh. I mean, obviously that one player. They're the only option.
Yeah, can you tell us who it is?
You'll find out. Actually, I was going to say you find out soon, but that's not true. You'll find out eventually.
That's killing me.
You may not even know who it is. They may or may not be in the server.
It could be someone. Yeah, you did say it.
Or it's also possible that you guys know this person, but they're not in the server currently. That's another thing. I'll let you guys marinate on that. All right, and then yeah, everything will go according to schedule. And then yeah, I don't think I have anything left to say. I think I vomited everything. Any other questions from our lovely panel?
No.
All good, man. All good.
All good. This has been a long stream. I honestly, Goose, Help, Elbow, Daito, I really appreciate you guys being here. This was a long commitment.
But you know, I enjoyed it. It was fun.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. All right, chat. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you guys have a great evening, and we'll see you guys on the server. Take care, everybody.
Bye.
See you guys. Everyone have a good night.
Peace out.